hopefully this video make you feel even better than you are feeling right now. And I'm going to just be putting on my makeup, and I want to tell you a story that took place in my life. I would say, well, it's been 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. It's now been 6 years since this happened. So today I'm going to share that with you. And I hope you don't mind that I keep you company for a little while. And just in case you're trying to sleep, or you may have some anxiety or something that's going on and you're just not feeling well, I'm going to chew gum so that can ease your mind and maybe even help you fall asleep. And if you missed the story, you can always come back and listen to it or watch. I have some double gum. I hope that you like the new background. I don't know how long it'll be there, so I hope you enjoy it. And just want to say thank you to a very special spirit, like you know who you are, made a wonderful donation. And with the donation, I got you a nice little relaxation background for tonight. And if you like it, then we'll have it more than one night. My special spirit light made a donation to my GoFundMe. For the good of ASMR. I will always use my donations for you to improve my channel. And make things a little better for you. Easier. Ready to enjoy the story? Continue watching.
Testing 1 2 1 2. It's been a long day. You just wanna go away. You can't sleep at night, and now I'm here. I can't promise tomorrow, but you're gonna feel out today. We can tangle it away. Now I'm here.
New subscribers, welcome to my channel. Perfume Cream Denude. 6 years ago, I lived in Midlothian, Virginia. I rented a really pretty, beautiful house. It had 4 bedrooms, and all of them were pretty good sized rooms. 2 of them were very large. I owned the floors. Me and my daughter worked together every single day, even on Sundays. I worked and lived in the same neighborhood, which was a very beautiful place to live. I had lost everything that I had, and I was starting over, and things were trying to get back on track, on the right track maybe. I had a storefront that was really small. It was only 600 and like maybe 50, maybe 40 square feet. It was really small. I had a very small bathroom and a very small workplace, but it was enough to just start over because it was just me, my youngest daughter, and my son, my Rod. So, Invisible Perfection Shield. And I was bringing in enough to pay for rent and on a very small budget for food, but it was okay because, you know, I could cook, so I did a lot of crock pot cooking, and I did what I could to just basically stay above water. That's the best terms to say. Where you know if one thing go wrong, the ship is sinking. That's where I was at. Financially. And at this time, when I rented this house, I absolutely loved the house, and I was hoping that I could be there for the next 10 years and that I wouldn't have to move anymore, no time soon. And the thing is, when it came to like my children, I just wanted them to be happy and be in a house. I should have gotten an apartment. I should have gotten an apartment, because if I had gotten an apartment, then I would have been doing better than just keeping my head just above water. I would have been at least okay. But I didn't do that. I rented a huge house. And being excited about starting over with the business, thinking that everything was going to go well. And everything was going okay with the business. The business was doing exactly what it was supposed to be doing. It was going at a steady flow. Only thing is, instead of the profit from the business being saved and building it up for hard times, I was using the profit for my personal life, which was paying the bills and taking care of the children. I'm going to use this L'Oreal Age Perfection Hydration Nutrition Day Lotion. I rented a house from a Caucasian man. He was really, really friendly when I met him. He had a son who was all grown up, went away to college, and he met someone on the internet, fell in love, so he decided to move in the house with her and rent his house out. And lucky me, I was the one who was approved for it. Although a lot of people have looked at the house, I was approved for the house. I still don't know this, what made him choose us, but he did, and we were really grateful. I was grateful for it. But when I go back to think on things, I feel like he chose me for the house because he knew from like everything that we conversate about, that basically I was desperate to just be stable and to be okay, and that I probably would work with him on situations that when it came to his house, and I did. And some of the things I worked with him was he didn't move all his things out of his house, and I'm going to give you an example. When I would go to a garage to get in my car, and right before I get in my car, there's a big poster in the corner. Now the issue wasn't the poster, although it was large and it looked like a human person. It was the size of a human person. It wasn't just a small poster. It was a man. When you look in the corner, when you go to get in your car, put the keys in the car, look to the corner. Every single day, all the time. Again, it wasn't the poster. It was him. He had a poster made out of himself that he left in the garage. And I tried to convince him to take it with him. And he said that his new lady, he was involved with, didn't have room for the poster. And he loved it. He didn't want to get rid of it. It wasn't hurting nobody. Could it stay in the corner? One example. That example. So I was just like, oh, okay. Things in the attic. So we couldn't use the attic. First he had his belongings in there with the fireplace. And we had to heat the house by oil and fireplace. And there were different little things that was happening, that was going on with the house, that I was willing to work with him while I lived there. So I think that was the reason why I was able to rent the house. I normally mix my foundation since I got it, which is the NC50 and the NW50. But today I'm going to use the dark NW50 foundation so I can get a feel of what it looks like without it being mixed, which is the MAC. Starting off, I felt like I had a good relationship with the landlord. There was just little things that it kind of bothered me, but I just didn't want to complain. Like him leaving his fish. I don't know exactly if they were goldfish, but they goldfish. They look like goldfish to me. They were in a pond with lights. It's a beautiful, serene type pond that he put together, and he had fish. He left them behind and said I was responsible to feed them, and it just felt like I had already had so much going on in my life. I didn't want to be responsible for a chicken, a bird, a dog, a cat, or his freaking goldfish. But because I was dating this guy who was overly sweet at the time, he told me that he would come over and he would take care of the fish, whether I was there or not. So I was like, okay, it's not going to be an issue, because I have a friend who's going to take care of the goldfish. So as time went on, things didn't work out with me and my new friend. I will tell you about that in another story time, because it's just too much. So right now I'm just going to stick to my Craigslist story. He was supposed to be fixing a few of my laptops for me because I had issues with one of them at work, and he was supposed to be cleaning them up. And you know, it got messy, and he tried to steal all three of my laptops. And I ended up getting my laptops back, but he ended up messing up my laptops. And my work was on it. My financial money that how I made my money was connected to the laptops. It turned out terrible because I wasn't able to recover the programs that I had on my laptop. My laptops were messed up, and I didn't have the money in the bank to be able to go buy a new laptop with everything on it, and then call the companies and get the programs back on the computers. It was just a hot mess. And one of the computers just didn't even come back on. It was like the battery was changed out of it. I don't know what was going on, but it just wouldn't even come back on. So what I did was, when I got paid, it was a terrible mistake, because it was my rent money for the house. And I was thinking that once I got the computers and I got everything set back up, everything would be back on track. I might be a few dollars short, but I would still make enough money to be able to get caught back on the rent, and everything would be fine. But when I got the computers, I had to make appointments to get set back up. And the appointments were not like in 24 hours. I had to wait for a tech to contact me, and sometimes that took between 5 and 7 days. And once they contact me, I had to wait for the program to be set up and running again. So it set me back, because by the time all the programs were up and running again, the next paycheck basically was coming in, and it was nowhere near to be able to get caught up with the rent. So what I did was, I contacted my landlord and explained to him about everything that happened, and I paid half of the last month rent, and now I owe him the rent plus a half. And I was asking him to just give me one more month, but don't charge me any late fees or anything like that. And I'm going to get caught up with the rent, and then I will never be late again, because, you know, that was just so embarrassing. I just did not think that would happen. I didn't want any issues with my landlord with not being able to pay rent. So now I started to panic because I was working really, really hard at the shop. But then I started not feeling well. And it was just weird. It was just like one day I went to the shop early, and I turned on the lights. I got all the flowers out. I got all the orders together. And when I went to start working, I felt really, really overwhelmed and really, really tired. And I couldn't really explain it. It wasn't the type of tired like you didn't get no sleep. It was tired as in I couldn't even lift the buckets for the flowers. And I was saying, okay, maybe I need to go get me some extra vitamins or something. Something's going on, I'm not feeling well. Maybe I need to stay in the bed for a couple of days because I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling so bad that I had to close the shop for a couple of days and try to recuperate, because I wasn't strong enough to even hold a cup, and I didn't even know what was wrong with me. I just knew something was happening. So that started to set me back. And if I wasn't late on the rent, taking a couple of days off, I still would have been okay. I would have been okay, but to take a couple of days off and be late with the rent was like a total nightmare. So as I started to panic, because I just didn't want my landlord to contact me and I didn't have the rent, I decided Craigslist. Everything's on Craigslist. Because I actually found the house that I'm living in on Craigslist. So I went back to Craigslist to do a room for rent. And because I didn't want to just do like a small room, I wanted to do one of the large rooms, which was my daughter's room. So I put her in a regular bedroom. Her room was made like an apartment. My daughter's room was made like an apartment. So I would be able to get twice as much than a regular room. I was kind of nervous at first because I was thinking nobody's going to rent the room because it's too high. It's too high. Nobody's going to rent it. But on the first day of running the ad, I started to get emails back right away. And I started setting up appointments. Now, the first few people who showed up to rent the room, I was like ready to make a decision right away. I just really wanted to rent the room and just give my landlord all of his rent money on time. First person that showed up was a young lady. And she was excited about the room, but she had a girlfriend, and she was saying that her girlfriend don't work. She want to rent the room, but she want her girlfriend to stay with her. So no, I'm only renting to one person. I'm not gonna say you can't have company and do what you want to do, but you can't have no one else stay with you. And she was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna rent the place then, because I want my girlfriend to come with me. And I told her, I said, well, the ad said rent for one person. It's not an apartment, it's a room. So she didn't take the room. Okay. But then the next person who showed up, it was a white guy. He seemed cool. He was like, okay, I can give you the deposit today. And I was like, okay, so when do you think you're going to move in so I can get the rest of the rent money? Because, you know, I really don't want to take the deposit. I want a deposit and the rent, and give you a move-in date. You know, the room is available now, ASAP. The thing is, I'm married, and I just need a place to get away from my wife and kids for a couple of days. And so I'm not going to hardly be here. So I would be the perfect person to rent the place. So I said, well, okay. So you're not going to be here but a few days out the month. He said, yeah. I said, okay, so when are you planning on moving in? He says, well, I can give you the deposit and I'll let you know when I will move in and give you the rent. Something in my heart said, don't take the deposit. Don't take the deposit. So I told him, I said, well, I tell you what, you hold on to your deposit and I'm just going to keep on showing the place, because I need somebody to move in right away. And he said, well, I was thinking about maybe about 30 days from now I will move in. I said, 30 days? I said, oh no. He was like, well, I can pay half the rent and give you the deposit, and then I'll pay the full rent when I'm ready to move in, which is about 30 days. And I was like, no, I can't, no. So if I would have had took his deposit, I would have been contact him, and he had no plans on moving in for 30 days, and I would have been stuck with his deposit with the promise of giving him the room to rent. So I was so happy I didn't take his deposit. The next person that showed up on the phone was like the perfect person. The person said, I'm an older lady, I'm retired, I'm not married, I'm alone, I'm very quiet, and obviously retirement, I want to rent the room. I want to come see it. And I made an appointment for her to come see it. I was excited. I was like, oh my God. Oh, lady, like how freaking lucky can I be? Like, yes. I was waiting on her. When she showed up, she gets out the car. I'm on the porch. Got the door open. I'm smiling. I'm so excited. I'm just standing at the door, like, just waiting for her to come in. Got the door open, like, ready to welcome her to my home. And she goes to the car on the other side, and she let out two of her dogs, walks up to the porch. So I'm like, do you want to leave them out here while you look at the place? And she says, no, my puppies go everywhere I go. I said, okay. I don't have dogs. And she said, okay. I said, I'm not comfortable with coming in the house. I have a son and daughter who are allergic to dogs. So they can't come in the house. You have me come all this way and you telling me that I can't see the place because I have my dogs? I said, well, you have to leave them out here. They can't come inside. I said, but you said you was alone. She said, I am alone. All I have is my babies, my dogs, and I have 2 cats. I was on the porch. I went from holding the door to kind of easing the door closed. And I was like, well, I did promise the room to someone else. And that person did tell me that they really wanted it and they was coming back today. So, I'm so sorry you came all this way, but I can't show you the room. And she was upset. She was going off all the way to the car with her puppies, putting them back in the car. And I was saying to myself, oh my God. I just want to rent this room. I just want to have the rent money. Like, when is somebody going to show up who got the money to rent this place? By the way, I hope you're doing really well today. I hope you're really relaxed. I'm going to go ahead and put on my transition color, which is like a bronzy type of copper looking color eyeshadow. So I was thinking about taking the act down and just calling my landlord and just telling him that all I can do is give him what I got and I will prepare to try to leave, move. And moving was like so sad for me. Like, me and my kids did not want to have to move. We really liked it where we was living. So I was just really disappointed that I was in this situation again where I wasn't going to be able to pay the rent. Yes, here I go making a business choice again, thinking that everything was going to be okay, and things didn't pan out because my health, started to fail. Well, one morning I'm at work, me and my daughter, and we trying to hurry up and get prepared to go make a delivery that was out of my zip code, but I couldn't turn anything down because I needed all the money I can get. I get a phone call. My daughter answers it. She says, Mom, it's somebody who wants to rent the room. And now in this story, I'm going to say her name. Not going to say her last name, but I'm going to say her first name. When I answered the phone, it was a very soft, Caribbean type voice. And she said, hello, my name is Helena. I said, oh, hi, Helena. She says, I want to see the room today. Is it possible that I can see it within the next hour? I told her it wasn't possible because I was on my way to closing my store and I was on my way for a delivery. She said, well, how long is it going to take you? I will head to your place and I will just wait for you. And I was like, okay, then I'll show it to you. As soon as I make the delivery, I'll be right over to the house. I got to the house. there was no car. There was no car. It was a lady on the porch just waiting for me. So I'm looking. I'm like, okay, because the way I lived at, it was like, it's like a hill, like a slope. And all the houses are they next to each other, but they kind of spread it. They're not like on top of you. You know what I'm saying? But they spread it. And everybody have, wherever a person is visiting, they park. They have enough parking on each side of the street to be visiting your house. There's no need to be down the street, up the road, round the corner in somebody else's parking lot. There was nothing in front of my house. So when I got out my car, I felt kind of awkward because instead of me saying, "Oh, hi, Elena, it's nice to meet you. I'm Spirit," it was, "Where your car? How you get here? Did somebody drop you off? Do you drive? Did you catch the bus?" That's what it was. I immediately got to the porch and just start asking her questions, and she says, "Oh, I caught a cab." Okay. At that moment, I was thinking, okay, she caught a cab. Probably her car's broke down or something like that. I said, okay. I started telling her about the house and started showing her, giving her a tour around the house. And she was just so sweet and polite. She was so polite. Love her. She is just so polite. I know y'all thinking, Spirit, what the freak are those paintbrushes? Yes, yes, darling, these are paintbrushes. I picked them up from Hobby Lobby about a few weeks ago. I thought, oh, this would be great. You know, I don't know, for eyeshadow, different things. Never know, so I picked it up. I think I'll use this nice pointed one right here. See how pointed it is. I'm just gonna go inside the creases of my eyelid. Which is really pretty. Orangey, copper type color. You can see it at the tip. When I showed her the room that she would be living in, she absolutely loved it. I told her it was fully furnished because it was my daughter's room. We were not getting rid of her things. We were just renting out the room. Because we don't have nowhere to put the place, so you can't move your own stuff in. And she said, "Oh, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have anything." And I said, "Oh." She says, "Yeah, I don't have anything." She said, "I absolutely love the room and I want to rent it." She said, "But I want to talk to you woman to woman." She said, "I want to rent the room today. I have the deposit and I have the rent." She told me that she had a son. Her son was 21 and they moved here from Florida. but things didn't go well. And that the only thing that she needed was a place to stay right away. So her and her son got on her feet. She said that we're only looking for a place to rent for 6 months because we're going to get our own place. You know, we just need somewhere to be able to lay our heads at night. And, you know, I'm a mom. And I've been in a situation where I've been homeless with my children. So I started feeling compassion and sympathy. I said, well, let me think about it. Because what she was asking me was, she said that her son would not take up space. They won't bring an extra bed in. He'll just get like a sleeping bag and he'll sleep on the floor in her room. And at 6 months, they won't be there. So I watched her leave. She called the cab to come get her. Me and my daughter talked about it. My daughter was like, well, Mom, I like her because she seemed nice, and I feel like we'll be safe with her living with us. Oh, I didn't call her back the next day. 2 days went past, and she contacted me and asked me, am I still thinking about maybe considering her for the room? Well, she was the best candidate that I could think of for the room. So yeah, I'll go ahead and bring her the room. So she told me she would be by to bring me the deposit and the rent. And she would bring her son with her so we can meet him. And I asked her when will she be moving in. She said the next day. So when she brought her son, now this time when she showed up in the cab, I had to ask. I asked her, I said, so you don't have a car? She said, no, I don't have a car. I said, okay, where we live at, the bus stop is kind of like way down, like way, I mean, I ain't gonna say exactly a mile, but it was pretty close to a mile. And I was asking her, was she gonna call a cab every day, or was she planning on catching a bus? Like, what was she gonna do about her transportation? You know. And she said that her son was planning on catching a bus. Because I told her that I get up really early in the morning, I goes to work, and I don't want to be like held responsible for her and her son for wherever they need to go. That only thing that I'm doing is renting out a room. I don't want to, have any more responsibilities towards the person. And she said, okay, well, no problem. Like, I just, I have no problem with catching a bus. I do it all the time. Been doing it a long time. Matte pigment, rose gold color. It's the NYX number 16 brush. And I'm just going to kind of blend it. So the next day, I decided that I would leave work a little early since she was moving in. And I would cook dinner. I don't know why, when it comes to people, I have a lot of hospitality when it comes to people. And yeah, I immediately wanted to just welcome her to the house and cook dinner and talk and get to know who was going to be living in our house with us. At the time when I cooked this dinner, I still ate chicken and turkey and stuff like that. So I made like a baked chicken, something like a rotisserie chicken. I put a whole chicken in the oven with some stuffing. I made some yams, some collard greens. I made some sweet bread, and I made some banana pudding for dessert. Now, when they showed up to move in, me and my children had put on kind of like comfy clothes because we were thinking when they got there, we'll help them bring their stuff in the house. So when I heard the doorbell ring, I was like, okay, y'all, they here. Y'all got y'all shoes on. Y'all ready to help them out. So the kids come running, and we open up the door, and her son standing there. And I'm looking outside. I don't see like a truck or a van, or I know she said she didn't have nothing, but I ain't see, no car out there or anything. I guess she caught the cab again. So she's standing at the door. She got one like shopping bag, and her son had like a shopping bag. So I'm looking like, I said, where your things at? She said, oh, I told you I didn't have anything. This is it. Maybe like personal things like a brush, comb, maybe some snacks, maybe a pair of changing clothes, but that was it. There was no like big bag, like book bag. Like when you're moving in with somebody's house, you got your clothes, you got everything, and even though you're moving in a room, you have quite a few things because it's all you have, and you trying to, have as much as your stuff to be comfortable. So it's like to see her with just a shopping bag. I was just like, I was saying to myself like, so I was just trying to keep my cool as far as like not be too nosy. But I was starting to feel like what? I was really like confused. Like why do you don't have any personal things? Why you don't have no items, I use the Stella liquid eyeshadow by it says Stella. It's called Kitten Karma. He said hello ma'am, hi to the kids, but that was it. He didn't really say too much. He just seemed friendly and polite. They sit at the kitchen table, and I put the food on the table so everybody can kind of just get what they want, put in their plate. And as we were all fixing our plate, I noticed that her son wasn't moving. I said, oh, you're not hungry? She said, yeah, we'll wait until, you all get y'all food, and then we'll eat. We'll eat whatever's left. I said, no. Fix your plate. It's okay to eat. We all began to have this really wonderful, nice, quiet dinner together. Go ahead and use the Tart Concealer underneath mine. I noticed that she didn't really talk much. She just kind of, like you ask her a question and she answers it. And basically that was it. Her son just kept on eating. He never lifted his head from the table. He was just really eating really, really fast. And then he leaned over to his mom. And I heard him say, is it okay if we get more food? Well, I said to him, yes, you can eat, as much as you want. It's okay. You know, I cook dinner, let's enjoy it. So I'm sitting there and I'm kind of like just smiling because he's really tearing up this food. Now my son eat a lot, but he outbeat my son at the table. So in my mind I was thinking, oh, they must be really enjoying my food. Spirit girl can cook because they is tearing my food up. So that's what I was thinking in my mind. And I was just like, and then I told my daughter later on that night, I said, did you see the way her son was eating my food? He was tearing that food up. My daughter was like, yeah, Mom. He was eating really, really fast. And even after everything was gone, he was still kind of scraping the pot. I said, yeah. I said, they must have been really, really hungry. My daughter said, yeah, maybe they haven't had a good meal in a long time for whatever reason. So after, dinner, I put on a movie in the front room because we had a huge family living room with the fireplace and everything. So I put on a movie so we can all kind of just enjoy a nice quiet night just watching a movie after dinner. And then I made popcorn. I asked her, I said, Helena, you enjoyed the movie? She said, yes, I really enjoyed the movie. I haven't had a chance to watch TV in a long time. I said, wow. I said, okay, well, let's get back upstairs so we can get ready for tomorrow. We gotta leave early. So they went upstairs to their room and they were really, really quiet. They had like their own bathroom, so I didn't hear nothing else from them from the rest of the night. So that morning, me and my kids got up. I had to get Dream out of the house, get him to the school bus, and me and Nadine headed to work. And I told her, I said, okay, well, I'll see you later. I hope you have a good day. So all day at work, I was just like, wondering how everything was going on. As far as like how they was feeling and everything, did they feel comfortable? So I was gonna ask her like when I saw her how she felt about things and everything. So when I got home, they still wasn't there. They didn't come home till like an hour after we did. And I noticed that they went straight to the room. It wasn't like she knocked on my door and said hello or keep a conversation with her. I just heard them come in the door. I went straight to the room and hear nothing from them, so I didn't want to disturb her. So someone told me to just knock on the door and ask them did they have dinner so I can try to talk to her, get some type of conversation going on. And she opened up the door. She was smiling. I said, Helena, did y'all eat? She said, no, we didn't eat. I said, well, what you gonna eat? Nothing. I said, nothing. Eat earlier? She said, no, we didn't eat earlier. I said, you didn't eat while you was at work? She said, no. I said, And then I said, well, why don't you come downstairs? I got a piece in the oven, and you and your son can eat dinner with us. Matchbox. She's sitting at the table, and I put the pizza on the table, and her son right away started eating, and he kept saying, thank you so much, thank you. And I was just like, Helena puts her face in her hands and she started mumbling, like crying, like making these little crying sounds. I looked at Helena and I said, Helena, what's wrong? What's going on? And she says, I lost my job today. They let me go. And I don't know why. And I says, you lost your job today? And she said, yeah. I said, Tagonite being here, you don't have a job? She's like, no, I don't have a job. They let me go today and I don't know why. Your son's still working though, right? She said, well, no. He had a job, but they let him go. So I'm going to be paying the rent. He's not working, but he's looking for a job every day. That's why we leave so early, because I'm trying to help him find a job. I said, okay. She said, I didn't tell you that my son worked. I told you that we're working people and that I can pay the rent. How you going to pay the rent next month? She says, I have the rent for next month. I don't have no problem with paying the rent. I'm going to get another job. I found a job really fast. I'm just hurt right now that they fired me and I didn't expect it. So I was trying not to be like, get out, you gotta go. It's time to go, you can't stay here. I was trying not to be like that. It was just awkward because I was just standing there like, so I tried to pull some compassion out of me and say, well, it's going to be okay, Helena. You're going to go job hunting tomorrow? She said, yeah, I'm going to be looking for a job tomorrow as soon as I get up, as soon as I leave the house, me and my son. So I said, okay. So instead of like really showing my worry about her just now moving in my house and just getting fired, I was just trying to be a little bit more compassionate. To set my concealer. And this is the translucent powder for the dark skin. So in the morning, I heard them get up earlier than they did the night before. And she didn't say bye or anything to me. She didn't say nothing to me. They just left the house. So I started sending out light, love, and energy that they found a job. Like I was praying for her all day, hoping that she finds a job. Because praying for her is praying for me. I couldn't wait to find out how things went. And she seemed pretty sad. So she told me, she said, don't worry, if I don't find a job in the next 2 months, I'll move out right away so that you can go ahead and find someone else to rent the house to. Because she told me she already paid the rent for this month, so she had rent for next month. So she was saying after that, if she didn't find a job, she would leave.